Chonk is here. I appreciate you coming, by the way.
No problem.
Thank you for being here. This is awesome. I know you're
hmm
a little stoked because it's Coach's birthday.
It is.
And you even made a little announcement message on there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's like my second dad, so
Uh,
definitely gotta celebrate.
okay. Walk me through that. So second dad, what made you come to that? Because I know you mentioned something about you were going through some hard times
Yeah,
and
well,
you
when
found
I
him. So talk to me about that.
right, so the first streamer in the community that I ever went to was Jakerton. And Jakerton, one day he did this community post and brought me to Brokules, which Brokules was like amazing. Brokules was the best.
Yeah, he's fun.
So he was the first small streamer that I had been to. And then one night, Brokules rated coach. And from then on, he's given me a lot of advice that, like, you would normally, like, your dad would normally give you, or something like that. He's given me a lot of advice and helped me through, like, if I have a bad day. Like, he cheers me up. He makes all of us laugh. He's really just like a genuine person and a really good person. And he's like about my dad's age, so I just call him my second dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what ways did he brighten your day? You want to give us a story about that?
um yeah, I started homeschool about it's probably been a year-ish now, and that was really hard for me. Like, we got homeschooled because of COVID and stuff, and I just didn't like. I'm a very social person, so I didn't really like being away from my friends and not being able to see them every day. Um, so that really, like, kind of had me in this depressed pit that every time I'd go into stream and laugh, it would bring up my mood, and my days started getting better, and I started being like less lonely and just focusing on school and being excited about stream every night.
Gave you something to look forward to, like a community, you would say.
Definitely.
Do you remember about when you found Coach?
I would say, I think it was around like August of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
you're almost hitting a year of being with him then.
it's been real close to a year. I'm super
Wow.
excited.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
It really flew by. Like,
Right.
it feels like I've met them like a couple months ago, but it's been a year. It's crazy to me.
That is crazy. So yeah, I noticed with you guys, Jagerton always gets mentioned.
hmm
He seems like to be the catalyst to all of this because Pixels talks about him a lot. What's his name? Brokules talks about him a lot.
hmm
Does Jakerton stream on Twitch or something? Or does he Twitch or does he stream
So
on YouTube?
so Jakerson he's mostly like a meme reviewer, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but he does stream. Sometimes he streams like memes or just random stuff. He does stream on YouTube. The last stream he did was on Twitch
Okay.
because it was like a 24-hour stream and he wanted it to be saved, and he can't do that on YouTube.
Right.
Um, I prefer him on YouTube. I prefer YouTube, period, but that's a whole
Same.
different topic.
Yeah, yeah, no, we can get into that. We can get into that.
Yeah.
Have you experienced Twitch at all? Have you been on that platform?
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
But
same, same. We'll get back to
Jake,
that.
yeah, Jakerton, he does these raids. It's called a wholesome raid.
I know.
And
I saw the one
yeah,
with Pixels, and I was
yes, he goes
fascinated
to
by it.
small streamers and he raids them. And it's actually kind of crazy. And actually, the Pixels raid was when I got the mod, when I got
Mm.
mod in Pixels stream, because that's the only mod I've actually ever asked for. And it was only because I wanted to help out. There were not, I think there were like one or two mods in chat, and
Yeah.
there were 1,000 people in chat. So it was getting a little crazy. So I
Yeah.
definitely wanted to help out in that aspect.
That's
So
nice of you.
yeah. Um, but Jacobson is definitely a big part of this community, even though he doesn't really hang out a lot. He's got he's actually moving soon and he's got a job, you know, all that stuff. So he doesn't hang out a lot. I know he hangs out in Rookie League streams. Um, I
Jagerton
know
goes to his
that
streams?
yes,
No kidding.
yeah, I see him in there sometimes. He
That's awesome.
chats. He I think the last time I actually talked to him was the last time Brock played Poppy Playtime, and the only thing he said in chat was a $50 donation that said Poopy Playtime. And I was
Like
oh
a
my
memer
god,
would. Like a memer would.
like a true meme or legend would. So yeah, he's definitely a big part of the community and has rated a lot of people like Wild Bill, Pixels, Brocules. I'm pretty sure he rated Frogina, Fruzy, um, Brong. So yeah,
That's interesting. So does he like know who he's picking, or he just looks up any small streamer and just raids them?
so I not a lot of people do know this, but Logan, aka the Killer Wolf in streams,
Mm-hmm.
is his top mod.
Mm.
Um, and he kind of makes a list of people in the community.
Mm.
And when Jakerton streams, he looks at that list and sees who's streaming. So
That's
he rates
awesome.
off of that list. And Coach may or may not be on that list, but
Yeah.
I he's rated Limits and Fox too.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about those. That's actually Limits stream is how I learned that Coach is on the list to be rated.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that. Can't wait for that day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna
Oh,
be a good day.
he deserves it more than
Yeah,
anyone
you
I
have a
know.
lot of high praises for him, and that's good. I guess you
Man,
guys had a lot of good moments together, and that's nice to hear.
oh yeah, definitely.
Did you happen to just fall into the community and like stick with it and you like where you stayed, or do you jump around these other ones that you've mentioned before? I know you mentioned some other streamers that got rated by Jagerton. So do you just kind of mainly follow
Yes.
Jagerton, or you just happen to like find a place to settle?
So in my brain, like the way I think about it, there are different branches in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like the Wild Bill branch, and there's the Coach branch, and there's the Pixels branch.
That's
It's kind of
fascinating.
they all have different vibes to me, and so they all go in different branches.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah.
Chonk's giving me her
So
theory. I'm listening. I'm very fascinated by this.
it's just how my brain works.
Okay,
So
that's
like
fine.
in the Coach branch would be like you'd be in there with VTice, Coach, Frog, Snapcut Cat, all those people. And in the Pixels branch is more like those way smaller streamers like X2 and like all of those kind of streamers. And then in the what are in the Wild Bill branch, there's like the bigger streamers, which is not my preferred branch,
Mm.
but sometimes I'll hop in their streams. Um, so there's just a lot of drama with that branch, and I don't exactly like it. Um,
Yeah, we can touch on that if you'd like.
yeah. Um, so I do prefer the Coach branch. That's
I noticed.
that's my go-to. I'll if Coach isn't streaming, I'll go to VTice. If he isn't streaming, it's not like a order of preference. It's just kind of how my brain works. But if VTice isn't streaming, I'll look at you. And if Mercat, I
Yep.
can never say her name right.
Mercat.
Mercat too. Oh my god, her streams are so fun.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That was a good time. That was a good time.
it was a really good time. But yeah, that's that's just how my brain works. They kind of work in branches.
That's fine. That's
Um,
fine.
yeah,
I like how you articulate that. That's fascinating to me that you've split it up like that. Because it actually goes against what I want, because I don't want to be split in a sense.
hmm
I try to interact with everyone, but
yeah,
I just starting to kind of get comfortable with the fact that some people just don't jive with me, and that's okay.
right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily
it's
a bad thing.
it's definitely the vibes. Like
Hmm.
like for example, Pixels. Um, who else? Pixels, Evasive Noodle, and Slick Chaos. They are great people, but they are not my preferred streamers because they aren't. they don't really fit with my vibe that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm trying to just like chill out and vibe, they're not my go-to ones. I like
Gotcha.
to be I've noticed that I prefer to be in a place that makes me laugh more and
Mm-hmm.
smile more,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, you know, that's a given. So like Coach and VTice, VTice and I have this little feud going on, so it always makes me laugh when I'm in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I know. You're
And
always
Coach
picking
is,
on him and then he's just taking it
oh
like
yeah,
the way VTice takes it. Yeah.
you know,
You're always poking fun at him.
yeah.
But he takes it
I
like a
mean, I
champ. I
can,
gotta give him that.
yeah, I mean, he can pick fun of me, I can pick fun of him. We know it's out of love.
Yeah.
But if anybody else messes with either of us, we all about to fight.
Yeah. 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 That's
It's
what's
it's
up.
just that kind of. It's kind of like a brotherly kind of thing,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
siblings kind of thing.
Yeah. From me watching it, that's what I get. And it
Yeah,
seems like you guys picked up on that as long as I've seen you there. You guys have always been
yeah.
like that. But it's never been a personal thing. I never seen anybody get upset
Oh,
about it.
never.
That's
No.
good. That's good. Do you feel like there's ever a time where maybe you felt upset at like what I guess the best branch, your go-to branch? Have you ever felt like you were upset and
Hmm.
like if so, like how'd you handle it? Have you ever felt
I
let down basically by one of those
think
people?
not by the streamers themselves. I mean, I always get mad at Coach when he doesn't stream the right, um, or I'll get mad at VTice when he skips horror days, or when he doesn't stream it, or when both of them aren't streaming. That's
Mm.
the worst. Like, it's like, where am I supposed to go now?
That's
But the
funny.
only thing that really upsets me in those branches is the people that end up there.
Mm,
Like, I'm not gonna name names, but there are a couple supporters
mm,
that tend to get a little snappy
mm.
or creepy.
Ooh.
Well, you know what? I'll go straight out and say his name because John Hand is a creep. He is. And I want to ban him so bad.
Oh. Oh gosh. Please elaborate on why you think that is.
He it's just his vibe. He's like love you lots and like it's nonstop. He spams anything until you respond to it, and most of the time it's like love you lot, Uncle Coacher, love you lot, Brother Brett, and I'm like, bro, first of all, why are you calling him Uncle? That's just, I don't know. That's just off to me. Like, please stop. And I'm pretty sure he is a child. He's not a bad person or anything. Like, he's a great person. But sometimes he can get a little snappy and goes into a spiral of like, you don't want me here, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, who is
And
this?
I'm not going to name names.
I feel like I know who you're talking about already though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Um, and so
He'll
we,
say
we just
things
try
like, I don't even know why I'm here. This is why I don't like and then he'll be
to,
like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I got you.
Um, so we just, at that point, we just time him out and say, like, you need a break.
Yeah.
And sometimes that spam frustrates me. That kind of stuff frustrates me. Um, just, like not following the rules and overall not being a good person it's frustrating to somebody that wants a good community, an open, welcome community that can, just have good people in it.
Do you feel like that there's a social aspect that maybe they haven't learned yet about that? Because I'm gonna tell you, like in my experience with John Han, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, he DMs me every day. I don't know if you know this,
Oh gosh.
because we ended up banning him
Mm-hmm.
every. No, listen, every single day he sends me a message saying the same thing, and I'm starting to feel like that maybe he just doesn't have the social skills to understand, maybe.
maybe. And there's like a rumor going around that he might be autistic. And
He, by his own omission, this is correct.
yeah,
He said that out of his mouth, so I don't want to put that on him. But yes, that is correct.
right, right. And that's the thing about people, like you never know.
That's what I
It's
mean. That's why I used to get really annoyed, but like I guess what I'm trying to say is like I try to be a little more gracious towards those folks because
yeah, and
maybe they just go ahead.
it's really the benefit of the doubt kind of thing
Yeah,
when you're getting frustrated with that. That coach is the best at giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I am definitely not.
yeah, yeah. He
And
might navigate that a lot better than me because it's I don't know what's the line, you know? Like, because what
right,
do? Do you give them all the chances in the world, or do eventually you know, cut someone off for the betterment of everyone else?
right.
It's hard.
Uh,
It's hard.
it's basically like with us. It's basically the three strikes and you're out kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know, like you tell them like if they're doing something wrong, you teach them, you give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't know. The second time, it's like, okay, we're gonna time you out, and then the third time, it's like we taught you, we timed you out. Now it's you're still not listening, and it's time to go.
Go
Sorry,
ahead. No, it's okay.
I'm definitely a nicer person when it comes to like I don't know, like being kind to people that don't follow the rules exactly. Like I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And then the second and third time, it's like, okay, you gotta stop. If I can't ban them already, but with certain people, it's like they're everywhere. Like John Han is everywhere, and
Yeah.
somehow he gets mod in places. I'm like, okay, I don't know how he did that. It's just like, and it gets to a point where it's like, honestly, I don't like you.
Yeah, the whole just modding people just to mod people, I don't know. I personally don't understand. Because I
Yeah,
don't know, you've been in my streams. I've had the same two mods for almost a year now.
yeah,
I don't feel a need to just give people mod just to give people mod.
yeah, and
Like,
your chat is being moderated good enough. If you don't need mods, why get more?
yeah, I don't get it personally. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I
like,
think just the bar is just so high because my two mods, I mean, they're just so on point. Like,
uh-huh.
it almost would be an insult to like just throw someone in there. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so on point. Like, but you know, I'm still struggling with that, and I'll let you know what I learn in time when it comes to that because
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I don't know if they even really understand fully. Like, and I don't know if I'm even speaking ignorantly by saying that. I just don't know
Right,
how to
right.
navigate that. So it's so difficult. But the
Yes,
only thing you can do, I feel like the only logical answer is to just treat them like you would anyone else.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that's fair, right? What would you say?
Right.
Yeah.
And with some of the people that deliberately break the rules, what they want is the attention. So
Right.
if you like call them out and stuff, that's just giving them what they want. And so treating them like everyone else
Mm,
is the move because you wanna not give them the feeling of being special in any way.
right. Right. Because could, like you said, it could be what they're looking for anyway.
Yeah, and most of the time it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine because going back to like Twitch and stuff, like how long have you been watching just live streaming in general? Let's start with that.
Uh, it's probably been a year. It was like a fast transition from Jakerton to Brocules to Coach. So it's probably been close to a year.
Of just watching live streamers and stuff.
Right.
I feel like you seem like your favorite thing about it would be the community aspect. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, definitely.
Right, like you feel like you're a part of something.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Now, do you feel like it's a supplement to your life or like it's made your life better?
Um,
I'll give you my point just so you don't maybe
yeah.
that's not clear. Let me explain. like, I personally feel like my life got better ever since I started live streaming because I have something even more to look forward to in my day. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
not
right.
necessarily like a replacement for my family and friends, but it's like a supplement. Like it's made it
Right.
better.
Right. I still hang out with family.
Right.
I can't just completely ignore them.
Yeah. Well, some people
Right.
do. That's what I mean. Like some people feel like they can't rely on their family, so they rely on the community.
Yeah. No, my family, I was blessed with a really, really great family.
So
So
they're all on
if
board with
Coach,
the whole thing, and are they
oh yeah,
involved
they
with the
supported.
streamers at all?
Um, I sometimes I'll tell my mom some stories about like what happened in Coach's streams or whatever. The one they know most about is Coach. My mom knows a lot, but my dad isn't really that kind of person
Yeah.
that like he's not great with technology and like understanding all of that.
Yeah.
So, and then my mom's mom, my Gammy, is
Yeah.
actually the model for the tap water shirt that she has. Um, it's in the Coach 4-star show. If you type in redeem exclamation point redeem tap water, her
Yeah.
picture of her shows up with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my papa works at a he works at Louisiana Rural Water Association, which is like the tap water for all of Louisiana.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, yep,
That's awesome.
it's a pretty cool coincidence.
That is. So Coach really could one day actually be sponsored by tap water. No kidding.
He
Like
could.
literally.
I mean, they're barely
That's
sponsored by it. We're
insane.
not into
Yeah. That's really cool.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my family.
So you
Yeah,
feel
my
like
family.
you would say it's more like a supplement, like it makes your life a little better.
Exactly. Yeah, it
That's
definitely
fair.
does.
That's fair.
So I get to tell funny stories to my family and all that stuff.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you ended up finding that. It's amazing to think that, it all fell into place like that.
Definitely.
And you just happened, like you said, how it all started. You just happened to be watching a Jacobson live stream, and then a raid sent, and you were part of that raid.
No, it was just some random night that I decided to check Jacobson's posts, and
Mm-hmm.
he was hanging out in Brokey streams, and so
Wow.
on his community posts, he was like, "Come hang out with Brokey." I don't remember the exact post. I could probably find it actually.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was just like fully coincidental, and all the stars aligned that night.
Yeah. I mean, hey, nothing's a coincidence in my eyes, but
Yeah,
I just like the story. That's really cool that
it
how
is.
everything
It
kind of
is.
falls into place. You know what I mean? Because I know Coach has been
Yeah.
streaming for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Quite some time. I know.
Probably 2 years,
Mm,
maybe. I know he started on Twitch,
okay.
and then I know it was only Erica and Blue Gamer, his girlfriend and his son,
Okay.
and then his son would sometimes invite his friends on, and sometimes his baseball players would come on,
Mm.
but those were the only viewers. And then when he moved to YouTube, he rated Wild Bill, and all that stuff kind of aligned to 2,000 subscribers and this big old show that we were on.
Right. That's
Right.
amazing. Now you're a moderator for a lot of these channels. Walk
Oh
me through that.
yes. So my personality is like I guess it's with my ADHD or OCD maybe, that if I'm not in control of a situation, it really stresses me out.
Right.
So sometimes I just like to take control of it,
Yeah.
and that has gotten me a lot of mods because I'll take control of a situation and they're like, "Whoa, okay, mod it is."
I'll take it.
um, I don't remember the first mod that I got. It would it would actually, I think it might have been Coach.
Mm.
Yeah, and once I was modding coaches, it kind of took off from there.
You seem to have it in every stream that I catch you in. So I don't know if you're just going in there and they're just giving it to you, or if you're like, hey yo, you know me, give me
No,
mod.
I hang out. No, I don't do that. I it's kind of like grinding for mod
Yeah,
because I need to be like it's weird not having mod, honestly.
yeah.
It is so strange. Like sometimes I'll see a new person in stream and I'm like, who is that? I'm trying to click on their channel and I'm not mod and I can't see.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
even though because it's like if I ban someone, it's for a good reason.
yeah.
Like I don't just ban people just to have fun. Although it is fun. Um it's very fun.
Reminding people who's the
I
boss.
I mean in the channels that I'm on in
Yeah,
my channel, the only people that are banned are people that have wronged me. Like
right.
it's not spam, it's not like breaking the rules in chat. It is you did something wrong personally to
Yeah.
me. And
Okay.
those are the only people blocked.
Yeah. So continuing off the community aspect, how do you feel about it overall? Because most of
I'm
us play Fall Guys. Obviously, we touch
right.
on different games here and there, but let's be honest. It's majority Fall Guys. Like, how do you feel about the community as a whole? And what's been your experience? Do you even play it? First of all, I gotta ask because I feel like you don't.
um I only played like 100 hours on it. So I'm not really in a gaming sort of area in my life right now.
Okay.
Like, so with the Switch games, I don't really like my Switch. It's kind of garbage.
Mm.
I've had it for like 2 years now, and the sticks have major drift, and the screen is all crappy. And wait, can I say crap? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Trust me, we've
Okay.
said a lot worse.
So no, I don't really play any video games.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I'll touch on Among Us, Jackbox, Kahoot, like small games like that. But when it's a game that goes anything over like 15 minutes, it kind of tires me. Not tires me out, but like it's boring to me. Like
Mm.
it gets repetitive after a bit. And
A lot of games
with
are
my
though. To your
yeah,
to give you credit, like a lot of these games are.
yeah.
Like Fall
Or
Guys, like just started to get better because they're adding
yeah,
new maps every like so often. So it like kind of got
yeah,
better with that.
yeah. And I used to want Fall Guys so bad. Like before it was free, I was like, I want to play that game. That game looks so cool. And then I got on it and I'm like, this is kind of mid. It's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I really am just there for the laughs, the good times, the community. That's all I'm really there for. And even better if they're paying Jackbox or Kahoot or a game that I'm actively gonna contribute in.
Yeah.
Jackbox is my favorite game because that's where you get the most laughs out of because
Yeah. You get some
like
crazy stuff.
you can just put the craziest stuff and it makes everybody laugh. So like
Yeah.
I had this one where it was like, what is a bad song to play at a wedding? And I said all the single ladies and everybody died.
That's a good one.
Great. So yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
That's good.
that's one of my favorite things is making people laugh.
Yeah, it feels
And
rewarding. It seems like more than anything though. It seems like you're more there for those streamers that you've mentioned previously,
right.
more than the community as a whole. I think that's fair to say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because I try to like engage with the Fall Guys community. And it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'll go around. I'll talk to different Discord servers. I'll talk to
there
everyone.
are children. It's a long
Yeah.
queue.
If
Um,
there's not really much of a conversation to be had.
right.
So it's refreshing that we get to meet people like you who,
You could watch some Cocomelon with them or something. I don't know.
yeah, I guess.
You can do that. I do get along with a couple of people. Like some people in there are my best friends. Like we have Mercat and Peach Peach and Demented Darling. We have a little group chat and we talk a lot. Blossom. I don't know if you know Blossom. Um,
Sounds
her name
familiar.
her name in chat is spelled like B1. Uh
Yes, yes, I do know
oh
them. Yeah, they were in Mercat stream, right?
yes,
Yeah, they have like an X in their name.
yes.
Hmm?
She is my best friend.
Wow.
Um, we actually met in Broculi's stream,
Look at that.
so we've known each other for a long time, and we met each other when Brokely started his Minecraft SMP.
Mm,
Um, yeah, until the world was filled with lava. It was a really fun SMP.
yeah.
Well,
And how long did he do that for?
I think it. I think it's still going on actually.
Oh, okay.
Um, it's limited to. I don't think it's limited to people, but I think it's limited to who knows where their base is
Mm,
because like there was a grief war and the whole spawn island is destroyed. Like everything is in ruin now.
mm-hmm.
So they have gone and made their own little paradise in unknown coordinates. So they kind of just do a Minecraft stream every once in a while, and that's Plug and Play and Brocules that made this server together.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Plug and Play. He seems to be affiliated with Finished a lot. I've seen him with
That is,
Finished a lot.
yes, finished as his mod, one of his mods.
Mm,
I that's how I met Plug and Play too, is when I heard about him helping Brock with the server.
okay.
I went and checked out his channel and hung out a little bit, and there was a coach raid, and I got mods. So
Look at that.
on in there too. Surprise,
Collecting mods like Infinity Stones here. So,
surprise.
okay. So you walk through the whole situation with the community. Seems like you're
Right.
happy. Seems like you're enjoying yourself. You
Definitely. It's
gave
super fun to be here.
That's good. That's good. You gave Streamer Dad a big old shout out this morning.
Heck yeah.
Everything's good. Now, let's get into your channel if that's okay.
All good.
I have a lot of questions about your channel.
Okay.
Your channel absolutely fascinates me, and we got to get into it if
That's
that's
great.
okay. So, I've watched a lot of your videos.
Okay.
And one of the biggest things, your biggest star is the bearded
Yeah.
dragon CHONK.
Yeah.
So
I can put my
how did
camera real
this
quick.
start? Yeah, 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 by all means. Do your thing.
There you
There he
go.
is. Hey.
Yeah, I just woke up. She woke me up.
The bearded dragon. So
That's my buddy.
I'm sorry, but they just crack me up every time.
Oh, he's a doof.
Just their faces. They just always look irritated, but I know they're not, you know,
They
but it's
do.
just
It's that judgmental face, it's that
yeah.
side eye.
Yeah. It's so funny. So walk me through that. Like what inspired you to start it? Did you just start it one day? Like how did that happen?
So yeah, I was looking for a hobby. Like I said, I got real depressed and lonely, and this is about the time where I started watching streams and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was kind of looking for a hobby, something that would make me kind of happy, something to give me a little more purpose in my day, just, making a little short with my favorite beardy. And so I started an Instagram, and so that kind of took off. It didn't take off. It took off in my eyes because I had 100 followers and I was balling. my I think my first video was like Chonk taking a bath, but my most popular one on Instagram is Chonk on a Roomba with the song Around the World. And that's my most popular one.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so once I started that, I had my Gammy works at a library. This is my mom's mom. She works at a public library, and I go there every once in a while. I'm friends with her, well, her old boss now. But I was friends with her boss, and this is last summer, and they do little summer programs. It's like library programs, just a fun little theme, and like read a certain amount of books and you get like a prize from a treasure box kind of thing. Um, but what comes with that during the summer is different shows from like magicians and we had a mime one time, and we have someone that plays the I don't remember what it is. It's like a big old, I think it's from India or Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like a big old instrument. I don't remember what it's called, but he comes every year. We have we have what's called the, and I'm not gonna say the actual name because there's only one like it. But we have a gator place right in town where the library is.
Okay.
So they have paired up with the library, and every year they'll come with baby gators, and the kids will get to meet a baby gator and learn all about gators. So that's part of it. But her boss last year wanted me to show CHONK and Mango, which is my snake,
Okay.
my ball python. She is great. Um, but yeah, she wanted me to show my reptiles. I had I had planned to bring the guinea pig, and I had him make me stickers for my little library show to give to the kids. And so
That's really nice.
I was showing these kids Chunk. There I had it. There's little what really called me, I guess,
Yeah.
to start a YouTube channel and really try to reach out to other people. And my ultimate goal is to teach everyone that reptiles are like scaly dogs, basically.
Hmm.
Because they really are. They're really sweet, and they're not like only amphibians are slimy. Like they're not slimy. Most of them aren't venomous. They're not gonna bite you. Most of them are sweet unless you provoke it, or
Right.
scare it. And like my main thing is like it's gonna attack you if it's scared.
Hmm.
You it is probably more scared of you than you are of it. Like
Right.
you are a giant to that reptile, and it is horrified because it doesn't want to get hurt. And so that's why it's defensive of its life. It's and that's it. Like if you are what I like to do when I'm catching reptiles, because I like to go and catch reptiles
Oh,
sometimes. It's
I've seen the videos. Yeah.
yeah. I'll get down on their level to maybe help their fear a little bit. Not exactly on their level, but I'll like kneel down and like try to get down further down so I don't look as big to them because it helps them. They have little hearts, and if I scare them enough, they'll just drop dead.
Hmm.
Like so that's teaching people about reptiles and busting that misinformation and all those myths around and stigmas around reptiles is really my ultimate goal with this channel. Yeah, that I say that was definitely my goal and what helped me start the channel.
And when did you come to this conclusion? Like, how early did you realize, like, oh, it hit you? Like, like you said, to quote you, you realize, like, you know what? They are just a bunch of scaly dogs. They're not really
Yeah. Um
hostile. When did you come to this conclusion?
like when did I start liking reptiles, I guess you're
Yeah,
asking?
like, when did you figure out, like, you know what? They're not that bad. Or did you always
So
just look at them like they're nice?
so when I was little, I'd say I probably have pictures too. When I was little, I think like three, maybe two was the youngest.
Okay.
My dad and my papa, that's my dad's mom.
I
No,
got you.
mom's dad, would take me outside and we'd kind of have fun outside, but also, do you know those little green lizards that hang around houses? The
Absolutely.
little
Absolutely.
green and brown ones? Yes. So we'd go around and we'd catch those lizards.
Okay.
And my papa is like, he means so much to me because he's the one that kind of taught me how reptiles are not that bad. Like he taught me how to catch them. And I mean, I have a picture of me and I remember this vividly. I'm in a purple striped dress, and the kid dresses not really a dress, but I'm in a purple striped dress. I have two lizards biting my earlobes on each side, and two lizards in each hand, both biting my hands. And I'm just smiling for the camera because I know they're not gonna hurt me. It was I love I don't know when I did it for the first time, but I know that I've almost always put lizards on my earlobes as earrings. It's like looking back at it, it's like those poor lizards, but also it was a cute picture. Um, so yeah, I guess I've never really been scared of lizards or frogs. I used to catch toads all the time, in the yard at night. Um, my dad smokes, and he smoked when I was little. But when he'd go outside for his smoke breaks, I remember going outside with him and, just going off on my own and catching a couple frogs at night because that's when they come out. Um, yeah, but snakes, on the other hand, I I remember one time, I don't know how old I was, but I know me and my dad were picking blackberries. We're kind of by a tree line, by the interstate.
Okay.
So we have we have a tree line and blackberries grow there just naturally. So every year we go out and we pick blackberries. Well, when I was young, we were picking blackberries and there was like this fence from who knows how long ago sitting there. We had this fence, and I looked at the fence, and there's a big old speckled king snake. I didn't know it at the time, but I know what it is now. Um, this huge. He was huge, and I freaked. Like my thing is, I could guarantee you that if you gave an actual child, like a baby, if you gave a baby a snake, it would not be scared. What makes you scared of something is how you're taught to look at it,
Right.
basically. And that's my thing with reptiles. Like I can tell if somebody's parents are scared of someone,
Yeah.
scared of a reptile. I know that their kids are scared too. Like that's it's just how they look at it. Um, it's just like role model, like clearly this person that I look up to is scared of something. Clearly it's bad. Um, so that I was like that. My mom isn't a fan of snakes. My dad kind of kills them in the backyard when he sees them. And he only kills the venomous ones and the garter snakes because garter snakes are, they take over everything. And the venomous ones are venomous, and you gotta like protect the family and the dogs and all of that. But I was just taught to like snakes are bad and gross. And then one day, I think I was like 13 or 14 or something like that. I went out and I saw a snake, and I kind of was freaked out at first, but I had been watching these YouTube videos of snake discovery, and they're one of my role models in life. Um, with reptiles, um, they they have been handling snakes and going out and catching snakes, and I was like, you know what? Why not catch this snake? And it was a garter snake. It's one of the little green striped ones, the yellow stripes. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so I caught it, and it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like the snake was adorable. He was so mad, and I don't know why, but snakes being mad is hilarious to me. Like it's just a little belligerent noodle, and it's just a little spicy noodle. So I picked it up, and it was adorable, and I was like, I want to keep one of these. So next thing I know, I'm convincing my parents to give me a ball python. And so we got me a ball python, and unfortunately, we had got them from PetSmart. And I don't know if you know this, but PetSmart is really bad. PetSmart and Petco are one of the two worst animal places that I can think of.
I've heard.
Um,
I've heard.
Yeah, so I got the snake, and about a month later, it passed away.
Oh my, I'm sorry.
So we waited a couple months, and it's like, okay, I'm ready for another one. Because losing a pet is like it's hard, even if you hadn't kept it for that long.
Yeah, of course, of
Um,
course.
I think the first time I lost a pet that I was close to,
Yeah.
because I had a couple dogs, and they either ran away or died in some, like, I know one got bit by a snake or something, like, though I was young and I wasn't close to them. But the first time that I ever actually experienced loss and the feeling of that emptiness is it's hilarious too. But when I was in middle school, I had a little hamster, and her name was Mimi, and she was the sweetest. She would give me little kisses on my nose, when I'd hold her up to my face. And when I lost her, I think I remember it vividly. But my mom was talking to my neighbor outside, and I came out screaming, crying, like, Mimi is dead. And oh my gosh, I scared the crap out of my mom. Like, like I acted like someone had got hurt, but it was just my hamster.
Yeah.
Um, and she was like, "Oh my goodness!" And after that, she helped. But like in that first, like, "Oh my goodness, why are you? Why did you scare me over a hamster?" It's just like, "Oh my goodness." So I had gotten over the snake loss, so we decided to get another one. And mind you, these snakes are like 70, 80 bucks. Like they're not cheap. They're not like a $10, hamster or whatever. They're pretty expensive. And that's a normal snake. Like, that's a baseline normal snake from PetSmart. The fancy ones get up to like I paid 200 I paid $245 for mango. So
Wow.
it gets pretty expensive. They go up to like 1,000, and bearded dragons too. Like Chonk, the morph that he costs $80 at PetSmart.
Wow.
But if you get into like the jeans and all of that, he can be up to like I think thousands of dollars for a bearded dragon that super fancy. I'm not talking Chonk morph, but I'm talking like full black bearded dragon or hypomelanistic, which is like completely white, but it has black eyes, like not albino, but um yeah. So we got that second snake, and it passed away too. Unfortunately, it had a respiratory infection. Then we waited a couple months, and then we got another one, and then that one died too. And I think that was the last one before I got Mango, and we had waited like at least 7 months to get Mango. Like the the last snake that I had before Mango, we had her for like a couple months, and so I had gotten attached to this snake, and I remember it was such a sad moment to walk into that room that she was in and see her lifeless. I like your heart sinks.
Yeah.
Like it's it's horrible. And I remember, like, I don't know how long it had been since she passed away, and honestly I didn't care. But I was just holding her and like bawling. I was so sad. And honestly, now that I look back at it and I see Mango like so healthy and thriving, I know that they were all sick in the first place. Like it wasn't my fault that it wasn't my hospitality, which is or husbandry, sorry. Um husbandry, which is like their cage and stuff, like their
Yeah.
environment that they're in. It wasn't the husbandry. It wasn't like anything that I did. It was they were sick in the first place and they were going to die.
Yeah.
Like it was I'm just glad that I gave them a life kind of out of PetSmart or another home that they could have been in that wouldn't have taken care of them as good as I did.
Yeah.
Um, I gave them enrichment and like a lot of pets and boots on the nose, and I definitely gave them a good life while they were here, while they could be here. And
Yeah.
it was sad when they couldn't fight anymore, but I'm just glad I was able to give them that life.
Yeah, I feel for
But
you.
then I got, but then we waited about 7 months or something. Sorry, I get really
No,
emotional
I
when
could
I
tell
talk
you're very
about.
upset about it, and it's okay. You could take your time. You don't have to take all the time you need.
Reptiles have a special place in my heart, and any mistreating or sickness of an animal is super sad.
Yeah.
Um, so we waited like 7 months or so to get Mango, and when we got her from a local breeder this time. So it was a hobby breeder that we had, like, you could tell he had taken care of this thing from birth. Like, it wasn't like he got it chipped in. It wasn't like he, threw it with his mom or threw it with the clutch. He hand took care of this thing from its hatching point.
Yeah.
And her siblings too. Like, they were all so healthy looking, and they were like thick boys, and that's always a good thing with snakes. Um, they were thick and healthy and active, and it was a nice refresher from the skinny snakes at PetSmart. So
Yeah.
now I have Mango. She is about to turn a year old, which makes me like super emotional because it feels like a couple months, and also all these losses that I've had, and now I finally have one that's thriving.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm gonna
That's
do a Definitely gonna do a little celebration for her
Oh, absolutely.
for beating the
When is
odds.
Mango's birthday?
Her birthday is August 18th, and
I'm gonna have to remember that.
somehow I remember that. I think I saw it once on the website and just stuck in my head.
Wow, that was a lot, by the way, and I appreciate you sharing their story. I know it's an emotionally sensitive topic, so I'm gonna tread carefully because
Of course, no, you're good.
I too have been through like the loss of a pet, and
Yeah,
it like
definitely.
I don't know if you saw the podcast with me and VTice, but it really is like losing a family member. So
It definitely is.
I imagine losing a family member close to 3 times is
Yeah,
that gets
definitely.
tiring.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
So
It's
I
definitely refreshing to have something that's thriving like
right, right.
Mango is.
So you probably feel a lot
And
more like appreciative of
yeah,
how, yeah,
and I'm extremely paranoid.
right,
Like, some moms are, some pet moms, some actual moms are paranoid,
yeah,
but I am so paranoid. Like, I will look at all of her scales like every week to check that she's not getting a scale rot infection or anything like that. I'll check her breathing. I'll check to make sure she's not whistling for respiratory infections. Like, I'll even keep track of her poops because that's a sign of health too.
mm.
And some people are like, that's weird. And I'm like, it's health. If
No,
your
I mean
dog,
that's
if
for
your
any
dog
animal.
stops,
Whoever says
yeah,
that is doesn't understand pets.
if your dog stopped pooping for 2 days, you'd be freaking concerned.
Oh,
So tell me
absolutely,
you need to
absolutely.
go away.
That's concerning. Even the types of poops that they do can determine, whether or not they're sick. So
Exactly.
anyone who
Like,
says that
if
is
your
capping.
dog
They don't
has
understand
diarrhea,
pets.
come back to me and tell me it's weird. Okay?
Yeah. Um,
Definitely.
if I may, like I said, that was a lot. So I do have a lot of questions about that. So the process of like, finding out their full health, did you kind of like work with a vet to figure that out? Did you do your own research? And like what's something that is like the most, I guess, serious thing that you would have to check? Because I know you mentioned something about like their scales. I'm just so
Mm-hmm.
ignorant about this subject that I would love to learn more. So
Oh
what do you
no,
mean by
you're
like,
completely fine.
thank you. So
Um,
what would you mean by like you're checking their scales? Enlighten me on that because like I said, I've never heard of this.
oh, and also to before I forget, I've also had an experience the same exact thing with bearded dragon.
Okay.
Um, we had this bearded dragon called Spike.
Okay.
He was a rescue. There was this owner on Facebook that couldn't take care of him anymore. He had metabolic bone disease, which is a degenerate. It's like a bone disease that makes their bones fuse together when they don't get enough like calcium or light nutrients,
So I'm
so
gonna
they can't.
just let's slow down for a sec. So does the vet diagnose that?
Um, most reptile enthusiasts are good enough at spotting it to be able
Okay.
to just say, yeah, that's what they have. And also, you don't need to pay for a vet to tell you that because there's really no cure for it. And there's
Really?
no there's no medicine, there's no cure, there's nothing you can do but give them a really good life and make sure it doesn't get worse.
So if you don't mind elaborating, like what exactly does that do that causes them to like pass away? You said it was a bone disease or something?
Right. It just shortens their lifespan.
Mm.
They sometimes they can't eat right. They can't it inhibits their ability to absorb some different nutrients for the bones, and so it kind of just did it's degenerative, really. It's so that's really what it just shortens their lifespan.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I had him and he passed away. So then we decided to get another beauty because we loved him and we wanted to keep having a beauty. So we got another one and she was from PetSmart and her name was Phoenix.
Okay,
We
Phoenix.
right. So she was about 2 months old and we had her for a couple weeks. And then I don't know which hurricane it was, but we live in Louisiana. We get a lot of hurricanes, so don't blame me when I can't keep track of them. Um,
It's okay.
we had a hurricane, and unfortunately, the stress. Like we live in a trailer park, not one of the trashy ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Um,
understand.
not trailer trash trailer park, just a trailer park.
I will not
Um,
judge you here. I've been around plenty of trailer homes that are absolutely amazing.
yeah. Oh, we have a really nice house.
That's good.
It's
That's good.
um. So we had this hurricane and we live in a trailer, so we're not gonna stay in this trailer for a hurricane,
Obviously, yeah,
especially
yeah, yeah.
especially since ours was a single wide and it wasn't leveled and just all kind of things that added on to the fact that we were getting the heck out of
Mm.
there. So we went to a bigger city and we have a my uncle that lives there. He lived in a big house. And so we went there. He was away for the weekend. We had the house for ourselves. I think he was moving out at that time. So the house was empty and Phoenix. So we brought Phoenix, we brought Cinnamon, maybe, and we brought the two dogs. I think it was two dogs at the time. We added a third one at some point. So we took them all and we headed to, oh, plus the guinea pig. We took them all and we headed to that house and we stayed there for, I think it was 2 days while the hurricane hit. And, oh, and by the way, you never want to be in an empty house when a hurricane hits with hardwood floors because when I tell you, it was so humid in the house. The floors had to lay a coat of water on them
Oh my.
from just the moistness of that house.
Right, right, right. The condensation. Oh my.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. But we're used to it. It's Louisiana. Our socks are still wet from Katrina. Um, we I think we were about to leave. We were packing up and we saw that Phoenix was unresponsive. And we sat there for a good like 30 minutes worrying about her until she finally passed away in my mom's hands. And she was too tiny. Like she was the size of maybe half of a hand that like upwards. Like she was too tiny.
Because she was
Um
only 2 months, or was it another reason?
right, because no, because she was 2 months. She might have been sick too. I mean, it was possible since she passed away so soon.
Right.
Um
So she didn't really like hit her growth spurt or anything?
exactly. She
Mm,
never really got to that place where she started growing like a weed because they really do. They grow like weeds. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and Chunk is back to sleep now.
Gotta leave him
Oh,
be. And I guess you're soothing him.
such a mood.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Have you ever? I'm sorry. I don't know if you wanted to say something else. I don't want to cut you off.
you're good.
I'm like I said, I'm very fascinated, so I have a lot of
Yeah,
questions. If you
I'll
don't
just
mind.
finish the story real quick. Um, we had so when she passed away, we went to PetSmart. We were like, all right, this is the last one. We're
Yeah,
not getting any more. We're done with reptiles from here. If we're getting anything, it's going to be from the local breeder because this is awful.
yeah.
So we go in there and we look at the British Dragon cage, and the first thing I say is, "That boy is huge." And I looked at Chunk, and we looked at each other, and it was like, "I want that one." So, and he was the biggest one of his clutch. He was a chunky boy,
Yeah.
and so we named him in the store. Like we knew what his name was gonna be. It was destined to be. Um, so yeah, that's the story of Trump.
Yeah, and he's big and healthy. I can see him
Oh,
in the
he's
videos.
he's fun,
His
my
scales
guy.
look great.
He's he's so spoiled. Um, did you ask me something about
Oh, if
yes,
you
the
but
scales, the scales.
So
Yes.
you say that you check it. Like, what are you checking
Right.
for exactly?
So there's this thing called scale rot, and it's pretty easy to spot out. And I'm pretty positive that Chonk has had it once, and he kind of has a scar from it.
Okay.
So he come here. So yeah, this is where we think that he had scale rot. I don't know if
Okay.
you can see that well, but right here,
Okay.
he has a little bit of a scar. And so what scale rot does is it's I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. It rots the scales away. So when they're in too much of a moist environment or blah blah blah,
Mm.
bacteria can eat away at the scales and get infected and all of that. And so as a paranoid reptile owner, I check their scales a lot, just for any signs of anything starting. And if it honestly, I don't know what I'd do if anything did start. I'd probably cry in a corner for a while. It's like I don't know what to do. It's my baby is sick and I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna go cry. Uh,
And then
I'm not.
eventually, I'm sure you would look up how to handle it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I would do research. I mean, I did a ton of research before getting Mango.
Yeah.
Like I was decked, not getting Mango. My first snake, I was decked out with information about the temperature and their, like the substrate and all of this. Like I was so excited and so enthusiastic to get a snake that I was just like doing all this research. And that really is what you should do. Like that's also what I want to teach people is like when you see these things online, like when you see Chonk, like it's just one video. Like you don't see the entire thing that goes into taking care of this reptile. You don't see the money and like shedding and just the tough like the vet visits and like all of this that you have to do to take care of this reptile. And they're just like, I want that now. And they get a reptile and it ends up dying because they don't know how to take care of it. And
Yeah.
that's really like that's why you need to do your research. Um, so I did that with Chonk and Mango, and I still like as much as people are like, you know so much about reptiles, like I'll still look up if Chonk can eat something every once in a while because there's a lot of things that he can't eat because it's like too acidic or too sugary or blah blah blah. Yeah. So that's just checking like that, and like there's also respiratory infections that they can get, and it's kind of like I think the closest thing to it in human form would be like pneumonia,
Yeah.
and that stuff can kill you.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
in reptiles, it's like it's fiercer and they're tinier, so they gotta fight hard. And one ways you can see that is I'll show you right here. If you just lift their chin
Yeah.
here. If they had a respiratory infection, this goes for snakes too. If they had a respiratory infection, there would be bubbles like back there,
Mm.
there'd be little air bubbles.
Okay.
That's 'cause they can't get airflow right, and so they end up making bubbles. Um, so that's what I like to check. Like that's what I check pretty often. I also keep track of her weight. I have a scale. Um, I keep track of her weight. She has a journal. She has like a health journal.
So I know you said like you said, like they're kind of like scaly dogs. Is there a way you can train them, or you kind of just let them rock how they
So
are?
I don't know if you've seen the video. Um, I can send it to you after this if you would
Please.
like. But there is a video that I have of CHONK responding to his name.
And he
He
does.
knows.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, he if he's on the floor and I tap on the floor with the tips of my fingers, I'll
Mm-hmm.
tap on the floor and I make this sound with my
Mm-hmm.
fingers
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Chong, come here, buddy." He will come to me. He'll run to me. And it really is, it's like a dog. You just gotta like get out of the microphone with your sniffs. He's so interested in this. Um, so it really is like a dog. Like it's repetitive, just teaching them this is good. I want you to do this. And snakes are, I don't snakes are not really the same. As far as like I've never really seen a snake come to its name because with snakes there's no treat system that you can give them
That's what
because
I mean. Yeah.
they only eat like once a week or twice a month or something like that.
Right.
So what they do, the only training that I've ever seen in a snake is what they call ball training.
Okay.
And basically it's for aggressive snakes that like to go after fingers when they get put in their cage because they think it's food, not aggressive snakes, food aggressive snakes. Um, what they'll do is they'll have like a red or a blue ball, like a vibrant colored ball on a stick. And you put it in the cage, and it's either when they strike at the ball or, yeah, it's something like that because it's the same thing with monitors. Like, basically, you're teaching them ball means food. And with like monitors and tegus, you can go a step further and make them like touch the ball with their nose to acknowledge it, and then they get the food. Is reptiles are such smart creatures, and they're so overlooked in their intelligence. Now, snakes are idiots, but lizards can be really smart. Snakes have no brain, no thoughts, just neck. Is what I say. Um, so yeah, that's about the training that you can do. Like you can't teach a reptile to sit because they're already laying down. Um, you can. I have seen this food dragon. I think her name is Mochi, or his name is Mochi, and it went viral one time. Got like millions of views of this bearded dragon that got worms put in front of him or roaches or something in his bowl, and he stood there and he was like, he went after them, but his owner pulled him back and said wait, and so she went out of the room and came back, and he had waited the whole time. It had been like a span of like 30 seconds, and he had waited until she said okay, and then he went right after the food. Like that's how smart they are.
Because of that, like, I'm curious as to why you should, like, why would you recommend someone to have a snake as a pet if they're mainly kind of like just hanging out, not really like responsive? What would be your answer to that if I were to tell you that?
Hmm. Snakes are really like I for first reptile owners, honestly, I would recommend like like a turtle or something like that. Like something on the easier side because there are, how there are like different expert, medium level likes and easy level dogs, I guess. Um, that's kind of the same thing with reptiles. Like there are some reptiles that are like you have to have like a huge cage like the size of a freaking room, and you have to feed them these extravagant meats and all of this, and they have to have cuisine and like there are some really extremely hard reptiles to keep. Like if you were a first time reptile owner, I'm not going to go and tell you to buy an alligator, like
Obviously, yeah.
yeah. So that would be more on the expert side, and then like a common one would be like a turtle. Like almost everybody has had a turtle in their life. Little Sheldon over there. Um. So yeah, if a snake is not like active, you kind of just gotta. It's like a handling technique. Like you kind of gotta get him used to you. So when Chonk was little, he did not like handling.
Mm,
But now I can, fling him around and he couldn't care less. Like I'm not gonna do that, but I could if
right.
he wouldn't care. He really doesn't care about anything. And that's just me handling him. Like like if he's moody, then I'll put him up. Every day when you first get your reptile, you don't want to hold them for the first like week and a half.
Yeah,
Is
why is
is
that?
the just to reptiles are very sensitive with their little hearts when it comes to like a new environment.
Mm,
And so they it just gives them time to explore and get used to their new environment before you yank them out and start like touching all up on them, trying to get them used to you. Like just try to handle them. They're gonna be like, I just got into this new home and now this giant is just touching me everywhere and it won't go away and I don't know what to do and it's gonna be scared. So what you want to do is you want to leave it alone for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, preferably, if possible. Well, it should be possible. Just leave your reptile alone. You feed it when necessary. Feed it in the cage so it knows that like that's a safe space, and you keep it a safe space. Like don't do anything that could scare it in that space. And some people like even cover it up cover the glass up with like a blanket or something because that can help them just get acclimated with their space and not have things like moving around if it's in a like high traffic area or in your room or something. Um, so you just handle them when that 2 weeks is over. You handle them for like 30 minutes, like you go to 10 minutes to 20 minutes to 30 minutes a day. You know, like it's just kind of of a progressive like once they're comfortable with about 10 minutes they kind of like sit there or tongue flick around, and the body language is key. Like if with any reptile, like even with lizards and snakes, like you need to know their body language. Like if Chonk had his beard out, I wouldn't handle him. Like it's just a thing of if Mango isn't flicking her tongue and is in like a strike position or hiding in her body, I wouldn't go and like handle her and touch up all on her face to make her more scared than she is. So it's kind of just getting them used to you, handling them, feeding them, like yeah, it's kind of like dogs, like or cats. Actually, it's more like cats because the cat has to like trust you before it's gonna like you know come and sleep on your bed with you. It's just kind of a trust thing that the reptiles are very tiny. So in the wild, it's hard for them to like get used to anything bigger than them because it's definitely going to eat them in the wild. It's just instinct with that.
yeah.
That's that's what I would explain to them.
Okay. Have you had any like bad experiences at all with reptiles and snakes?
Definitely. So I think my third snake was very scared of everything. She would bite me all the time, strike at me, and I basically like I just persisted with that handling technique. It didn't get better before she died, but at least at least I was trying to, at least I knew what to do. And gonna be honest, snake bites, at least from smaller snakes. Like I'm not gonna go and purposefully get bit by a Burmese python or like an anaconda or anything because those hurt. But small, like up to ball python size bites do not hurt at all. They might draw blood and they might be a little, it feels like little pins, but that's about it because their teeth are very tiny.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it wasn't really a bad experience. It was just a little upsetting that, she never got to be sweet and she was always scared around me,
Mm-hmm.
because all of them can be sweet if you train them right. So,
What would that be like a deal breaker if you like were to be friends with someone like close friends, and they say, "Hey, I really like you, but I can't hang around those dang reptiles." What would you say to them?
you know, um, it's not a deal breaker. Like if they're a genuinely good person and they're just like, I understand being scared of something that has a stigma around it. Like if you're not educated, I can see how that's new territory. Like you don't
Right.
know what it is, and so I I respect people's fears. Like if they seem scared or anxious around Chonk, I won't put him any closer. I'll back away. I won't make them pet him. I won't, like I'll make sure that they're comfortable around the reptile because what I want
Yeah.
to do is I want to make sure they're comfortable and not make it a bad experience and put more stigma around the reptile in their
Right.
brains.
Right.
So I like, for example, my mom's mom, she was terrified of reptiles. And after that hurricane that I talked about, our house got destroyed. So we had to move out to get a new trailer put on our property. And we moved into her house with two reptiles and a guinea pig that she was allergic to and three dogs that she was allergic to. So, she's an amazing person, and I really appreciate her for taking us in, even though we had things that she was allergic to and things that she was scared of. Like, and it wasn't like she couldn't breathe or anything if she got near him. It was like she kind of got itchy and her eyes got itchy, but still, it's still amazing of her to like let us live there. And by the way, we lived there for 7 months. It was only meant to be a month, 1 month, and we ended up staying there for 7 months because the housing industry is horrible and can't get a
Yeah.
trailer on a property in 1 month. Um, they were yeah, whole
Would
nother story. But long story short, they were like, "Yeah, get your house off your property by April 1st," and then April like 3rd, they were like, "Oh yeah, we can't have it there till August." Freaking what? Um, so yeah. So anyway, yeah, she took us into her house and we respected that she was allergic. Like we vacuumed every day. We made sure that the dog stayed in the back side of the house where she wasn't, um, where she never went. And like, we made sure to respect her in the fact that she let us into her house with things that she's allergic to. And we had to make sure that she was comfortable in her house. So we get there, and she's still terrified of reptiles. And I love to hang out with Chonk. Like anywhere I go, Chonk is with me in the house. Like I'll bring Chonk around on my shoulder. I'll make food with Chonk. Like he's everywhere with me. He's my buddy. So yeah. In time though, I respected her boundaries. I respected that she was afraid of Chonk, and I gave her a comfortable experience with the reptile in the room. Um, And after 7 months, she's ended up at the beginning, she couldn't be in the same room, but now she's okay with being like 6 feet away from him. Like she won't pet him or anything. Like we're not there yet. We probably won't be. But it's still amazing that that's okay with her now.
Right. And it
So I'm
took and
definitely
how long did you say it would take for that to happen?
it took her like a couple months.
So
So
would it be safe to say you're like the resident like reptile fan?
definitely.
And that kind of came up from like you said from you growing up, messing around with them in the backyard,
Right, right.
and it kind of just became a thing for you.
It
So,
became a thing.
do you feel like you'll always have reptiles your whole life?
Oh, definitely.
Like you can't see yourself without
For
them?
sure. No. Mango, I mean, Chonk is gonna live for another like probably 10, 8, 10 years. And Mango is actually her lifespan is 30 years. So I'll be stuck with her for a while.
What do you see yourself doing? Because you seem pretty like passionate about reptiles. You seem pretty passionate
Yeah,
about, you know, getting rid of the stigma. Would you see a career in working with them?
definitely. I wanna like kind of do a reptile rescue maybe on the side, but my main thing is I want to become an exotics vet, which is like that's my big dream. At one point I wanted to become like my career dreams have changed a lot in my life. At one point I wanted to be like a meteorologist, at another point I wanted to be a game warden, and now I'm at exotics veterinarian. So
And how does that work? Exotics veterinarian, how would you go about doing that?
So you it's different college courses, and then also there's college, there's shadowing opportunities probably at exotic vets, but that would probably be like I don't know, like an hour away in Baton Rouge area. I'd probably have to do something near there because we don't have a lot of exotic vet things. And that's another thing that made me want to become an exotic vet is when I think it was my second snake that I had, it had a respiratory infection, and one thing that comes with the respiratory infections is something called corkscrewing. And so we noticed that he had a respiratory infection. So we went to like 5 different vets, and none of them they either didn't take care of reptiles or the reptile vet wasn't in that day. So, and I guess they were only like 3 or 4, I'm guessing, because in the only thing that I was thinking of when that snake passed away is like, there are not enough reptile vets here. Like, there is not, owning a reptile cannot be that uncommon here. Like, just to have like 3 or 4 reptile vets in one of the big cities in the state. That's ridiculous. And so in my mind, I was like, I have to become a vet and I have to go around and I have to help people. Like, because losing that hope that I lost when we called the last vet and they were like, no, we can't help you. It was like, oh, it was my stomach just, it was like horrible. So I just want to help people not experience the same thing that I did with that snake, of having no hope left and knowing that my snake is going to pass away because there's no help that I can give it.
It's almost like a helpless feeling, right?
It really is.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to feel that ever again.
Never,
That seems to
never.
be a
And I don't
lot of a
want
motivator for a lot of people. Feeling helpless really tends to shape you in
to.
your life to
And
whatever
I
it
wouldn't
is.
want anyone else to feel that. Like,
Yeah.
that's that's a horrible feeling, especially like and I'm not meaning to compare this to a cancer patient, but like if I if one of my family members had cancer and they were like, there's nothing we can do, like that is hope lost.
Yeah.
And you just have to like, you have to know in your mind that they're probably not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like that's like the feeling that you get. Just
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Feeling of hopelessness, like you can't even do
Yeah.
anything, and it's like, okay, so I just sit here and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Wait
one.
for the inevitable.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
that's a great story, and I appreciate you sharing that. I really hope you do that. I really hope that, because I think if anyone should do it, it would be you.
Yeah.
The way you speak and how passionate you are about it, and how motivated you seem to be about it. I hope you do that, and I would love to hear how that ends up for you. You know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course, of course. You mentioned before too, by the way, that you had to convince your parents, since you're the resident reptile snake. Which, by the way, before I ask that question, is there a difference, or are they both like in the reptile? I'm sorry, like I said,
Yes.
I'm a product of bad education.
Yeah.
So, are they in
So
the same family? Are they separate? How
yeah.
does that work?
So there are two families. There are reptiles and amphibians.
Okay.
So snakes and lizards are reptiles. All of all of those. That's the most broad thing that I can give you. Snake, lizards, turtles. Those are reptiles. Amphibians are frogs, salamanders, all of those.
Now, will
So
certain
yeah,
snakes
snakes.
fall into that category due to like how they swim, or no?
No.
Okay.
Amphibians are metamorphic. Is that the right word? I don't know. I don't really reptiles. I mean, amphibians aren't my thing. I focus on reptiles, but I do know a good amount about them since it kind of comes with the territory.
Okay.
Um, so yeah. So you know how like a frog has like a cycle from tadpole to frog.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what an amphibian is. Like an amphibian has to go through that cycle for it to
Okay.
be an amphibian. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, with that, convincing your parents to have reptiles, because I want to
Right.
speak specifically, how was that process? Was there a lot of pushback, or was it
So
easy? How was that?
right, right. My so at the point where I wanted a snake, my mom in college, she had a bearded dragon. So my mom was already warmed up to reptiles, and so was my dad because I think they started dating in college. I know they lived together through when they had the bearded. So they were both used to reptiles, but lizards and snakes are like a whole different thing when it comes to like the stigma of them. So I really had to convince them to get a snake. It was definitely a different kind of convincing every time one of the snakes died, and I was like, "Hey, I want another one.
Yeah,
Um, can you spend more money on this thing that might die?"
that's what I
Yeah,
mean. It must have took a great deal of patience. I mean, kudos to your parents for
yeah. A great deal
hearing
of
you out.
patience and money because with the surgeries that I've already been through, I am expensive enough. So, uh,
Well, it's different if it's their daughter. It's another if it's a pet. You know.
it's a snake, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that's not even a thought in their mind. To spend
Yeah.
money on you.
Well,
But
my dad was really poor growing up, and
mm,
like poor to the extent of like driving and on the side of the road to like pick up cans to go exchange them. Like, like they were poor. So they didn't get a lot when they were younger. They didn't have that. And these are his words. Like he says it all the time. They didn't have that great of a childhood, and that led them to like not fulfilling the life that they really deserved. Honestly, they deserve that. Um, so it kind of led them down dark paths to like drugs and stuff like that, and prison and all that. So he wants to give us like the best childhood possible, and like act like be a really good dad and guide us in the right direction to the careers that we want to, and he wants to support us to whatever career we want. It doesn't matter. And so when I asked for a reptile, and he knew that I was wanting to be a vet, it was in his mind. It was like supporting me in that
Yeah.
journey to learning more about the animals and having more experience in that sense. So that's basically how it was. It wasn't like I think I remember him saying this. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we got to spend more money on this. It's like in his brain, it was like I'm gonna get this for her because it's gonna lead her in the right path where she wants to go.
As a good dad would.
Yeah, he's a great dad.
Would you say you're close to your family?
I am very close to my family, but I'm a different, like, on my mom's side and my dad's side, it's a lot different. Like, I know that's kind of normal. I get along and I'm closer to my mom's side of my family, but I also don't get along with my mom. But I am way closer to my dad, but I don't really get along with his side of the family.
So it's like
Yeah,
a mixed bag for you.
exactly.
Do you do you ever feel like you'd want to be close to these people, or have you kind of?
Um, like my dad's side of the family is kind of more on the, what do you call it? Like, I don't know the word, but kind of more on the gangster side of stuff. So,
It's all right. I know what you're trying to say. You don't have to elaborate. I got you.
right. So, like, my uncle, I don't like him much. It's my dad's youngest brother. And it's only because, like, he's done a lot of drugs and, like, he's been in prison a lot. But I am super, like, I'm getting kind of closer to him, because he is sober for, he's working on, you know, that sober journey. And so he's getting a lot healthier. He looks better, he acts better, like, he's just like a completely different person. And like that side of the family is definitely more on that side with like drugs and stuff like that. And I don't really want to, be around that kind of stuff. I'll definitely, you know, go to my Gammy's house because she's a Christian. She's a great woman. They're both Christian. My papa used to basically run the church on Sundays. He would open up and he'd be in control of all this stuff, and he was so cool. Um, he retired a year ago or so, but they're really good people, and they're gonna lead me down the right path. So that's the people that I want to be around.
That's
And
very
plus, they're
mature of
just
you. Very, very mature of you to
right.
say.
Plus they're like super fun. So
So that adds on to the whole cake.
it's a plus.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that. Yeah.
my dad is also this year he just hit 7 years sober. So
Well, congratulations to him. I know
right,
it's not
I'm
easy.
so
It's a
proud of
long and
him.
painful journey for some.
Oh yeah,
How does he
yep.
feel about it?
Um, he feels good. Like he was proud of himself. His dad just recently passed away like a year ago, and that was really rough on him because, like, like a traumatic event like that can lead you right down that path in an instant. So it was really hard on him because he was closest to his dad. Like that was his rock, like his ride or die, everything. And he had a heart attack one night, and like I'll never forget that night. It was awful. Like I've never seen my dad, like I have seen my dad tear up,
because we have moments like I've been I've been through some stuff. Like I've done some bad things, and we have these long talks about like, you know, all that stuff. We touch on all that, and I've seen him tear up, but I've never seen him cry. And that night, when I saw him cry, it was like I didn't know what to do. Like I was just in shock. Like it was awful.
Because you never seen him like that before.
Right. Like he was sobbing, like sobbing. And I didn't know what to do. I was just standing there like, uh,
But
mom,
it's
help.
it's okay. You're not supposed to know. It's not
Right.
those types of situations, you know, and I can speak because my father's been through like very similar
Right.
story to what you just explained. Actually, it doesn't go away. You just get easier at ignoring it.
Right.
So there's not much you can do. You
Yeah.
can be there for him, and then whatever he needs, you can be there to support him. But trust me, it always hurts. You just get good at like not showing that.
Yeah, definitely.
But thank you for sharing that. You didn't have to. I appreciate you
Yeah, no problem.
sharing that part. I feel like I learned a lot. Like there's so much more I could ask, like in
Yeah.
related to your experiences with reptiles, but I'm just really glad that you're taking that path. I feel like it would be a
Mhm.
waste if you didn't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely.
Like if you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a bus driver," I'd be like, "Oh come on." You know, no offense to bus drivers, of course, but
No, definitely
you
not.
know what I mean?
And with my parents, it's like we'll support you in whatever we want, but if we know that you're wasting talent or wasting that, we are going to point you in the right direction and say, heck no, you're doing this because you're going to thank us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I believe you probably I don't know what you believe in, but I do believe that you have a God-given drive.
No,
So,
yeah, for sure, definitely.
yeah, so
I
that's
remember the day when I realized that I had my calling. Like
yeah, that's a beautiful thing. See, that's what I
it's
wanted
a
to tell you.
great day.
I that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm glad you said it first.
Yeah.
You definitely have a calling. I never met anyone like you, so this was a very amazing conversation. And yeah, it's good that you see that. It's good that you have your calling. There's no better feeling than that. And
It
yeah,
definitely.
there's no better sense of security. And I'm glad
Yeah.
you're around people that reinforce that. Because I
Yeah,
feel like it would
definitely.
be, from the outside looking in, it would be quick, maybe for some, not for me, but for some, to like be judgmental or make statements that are just uneducated.
Yeah, ignorant,
Yeah,
uneducated.
yeah. So it's good that you have a good support system with that.
For sure.
And kudos again. Shout out to your parents for
Yeah.
cultivating that, right? Because
Yeah,
you know, I'll
definitely.
tell you right now, there was things I wanted to do, and my parents weren't so receptive of it. You know,
Yeah.
I had to. When I went to the Marine Corps, I did it behind their backs, basically.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
I mean, they had their reasons as to why they were worried, you know, and I'm
Right,
sure
right.
your family did too. But once they
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
you opened them up to it, you convinced them, you showed
Right,
them
right.
that hey, like actually serious about this. This is not a phase,
Yeah.
for example. You know,
Yeah,
we go
exactly.
through a lot of phases growing up.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's good that that this is one that you seem serious about, and I think that's really cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said,
definitely.
I could ask a million questions, but we'll be here all night.
I got all night. Yeah.
I know.
Definitely plan another time, you know. Seems like
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of questions, so I'm
I do.
I'm
Like I
open to
said,
talk
I
whenever.
looked at your channel just in fascination. Especially, let me tell you before we close, the video where you were running towards the snake. That was like almost like a
Mm,
culture shock because you have to
that's my
understand,
favorite
like,
video.
you have to understand, like, you know, growing up where I grew up at, that's not something we see very often.
Right,
So
right.
to see someone doing what is the opposite of what I usually see, which is people running away.
Yeah, I run the
So
opposite direction.
yeah, and listen, it's not that I'm like like I've been in some very very life threatening situations. I would not run
Mhm.
towards a snake. Like I would not. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
can run towards a car fire and pull someone out of a car, no problem. That wouldn't
right.
scare me. But if I see a snake, I will give him his space. So to see you handle it so fearlessly, there's no way you can convince me otherwise that you don't have something that's just God given. You get what I mean?
Right.
Like you are
And
just wired differently in a good way, of course. I'm not
right.
saying
And
that like in a
in
bad
my
way.
brain, when I see a snake, if it's like when my brain goes like I identify the snake and I'm like, yeah, that's like a garter snake and it's non-venomous. Like if I see a venomous snake, I'm gonna be like, Dad, get the shovel, Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but when I see a non-venomous snake, there's something in my brain that's like, that is a friend. That thing is cute. Go towards it and grab it. And I just go, yoink.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You'll grab it, you'll look at it and be like, oh wow. And I'm just like
and
I'm staring at the screen like
yeah, me in my video, and you're just sitting there like, what? And I'm just
yeah.
like, yeah, this thing is gorgeous. Look at them
Yeah.
red.
But
Oh my
it's reminiscent of like, for example, like one of the biggest things for me growing up was Crocodile Dundee, the crocodile
god.
hunter. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but just watching him, for example, he'll just wrestle crocodiles. He'll go out in the wild, just straight up like
Yeah,
go up to
Pixel
anything. You know,
that I'm
there's people that are like that, and I think that's cool.
yeah. Pixels tells me a lot that I remind him of Steve Irwin.
Yes, that's his name, Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
So, I think that's cool. I think it's great. Obviously, be safe, but I think you got it pretty much down pat. I think
Little
you.
story about that video.
Yeah, please share because that's the video I saw that I still can't forget.
Right. So I don't know if you had read the description, but it says like this is a reenactment of the events that happened. So
I think you did say that.
right, that morning, my mom wakes me up. It's like I don't even know what time it is. I think it's 8 a.m. And she's like, "There's a huge freaking snake in my shed, and you need to get up, and I need you to get that thing now." And I'm up, like, I'm up and ready. It's like in the cartoons where, like, they get all excited when they get up in the morning and they, like, basically change clothes in between frames. Like, I was like that. I was ready to go in, like, 5 minutes, and I'm out there with a, a stick, and then, like, I had my vest on to put my camera to record the video on my chest. And I'm just ready to go. Like I'm like, this is gonna be a chonk video. I'm gonna catch this snake. This is gonna be so freaking cool. And so I record this video, and I swear this video is like 10. I think it was closer to like 15, 20 minutes long of me just like talking about what I'm doing, what's going on in my mind while I'm looking for this snake. Because it was a it was a hunt. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Um, it was a hunt to look for the snake because he had cowered back into the shed, and this is just like a little low shed that you get at, like it's just one of the plastic ones that you put in the back of your yard. So I'm looking in the shed and I'm like talking and I'm it's 10-minute long video and I come back with the snake and I get on my phone and I start editing the video and I didn't have enough storage on my phone. So, like the idiot that I am, I go and I'm like, I don't need these videos anymore, so I'm gonna delete them so I can download the edited version of these videos. And my editing app is like, you don't have these videos anymore. You can't edit them and you can't save them. And I had already deleted it from my trash to make more room.
That
And
feels so bad.
dude, I cried.
Yeah, me too. I would too.
I'm not even kidding. I cried and I took a depression nap because I was devastated that I had lost this video that was gonna be like it was so cool and people were gonna be like educated and like maybe learn how to catch a snake if they wanted to. Like, like I taught how to like identify the snake, like all of this. and it got deleted. And I'm still mourning the loss.
So you did your best to kind of like recreate that moment in that video.
So I'm like, in true YouTube fashion, I'm gonna fake this. So, so
I mean, look,
luckily,
even still to your credit, like you ain't gonna catch me doing that, even if it's fake.
right? um, so I had kept the snake in a bucket because I was so excited that I caught this 6 foot snake. I was gonna show my dad when he got home, and so I kept it in a bucket on the porch. And so, like, I go out there, I'm sad, I still don't want to get up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. Just gonna suck it up and do it, and maybe do a little herping video or whatever. I don't know. I just need like a video to get the dopamine back. Um, so I make this, and I put the snake out in the middle of the yard, and I film this, looking, and I happened to find the turtle, and I don't know what else I caught, but I happened to just find those other animals, like they were just there. Um, God given. He was just like, put a turtle there for her. Content. Um, God likes content.
Yeah.
I'll give you some content. There you go. Um, so I put the snake out, and I was petting the horse, I think, or something, and I pretended like I turned around, and I'm like, snake, it's a snake, and I run towards it and catch it, and I'm already comfortable with the snake, so I'm trying my best to look like I'm kind of feeling out like I would normally, like feeling out how the snake is gonna react to me, and I tried my best, and then I put out that video, and it did good, so I'm happy. I'm still mourning the loss, though. I'm still
Yeah, that's such a L, but those are the painful lessons learned content
oh,
creating.
extremely painful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. I hooked my phone up to a computer and had code, like look through the coding kind of apps
Of
to
trying to get it.
it was brutal. And then in the middle of my phone, not uploading to the computer, but through the app, it was analyzing my phone. In the middle of that, I fell asleep and it stopped. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna just take this. And that's the story of how that video came to be.
I love it. I love the video still, and thank you for doing that for us. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, I think it really taps into what you're all about.
Yeah, and definitely like the other day I didn't film it. I didn't have my phone, but the other day I caught this garter snake. And it
Mm.
was the coolest thing because I was checking out the plants because we have a garden now. We're trying to be self-sufficient in our vegetables. And we're doing a pretty good job. Like Chonk is eating vegetables mostly only from there except for his kale. Um so we have that, and I was checking out the garden, and I see a garter snake bolt from it. And I'm like, game on, brother. And I run towards it and yoink it, and and it must all over me, of course, because, and I know you might not ever smell this, but a snake's musk is different from a snake's poop. Musk
Mm.
is like a defensive kind of scent thing to make predators go away. And it's worse than poop. Like it is vile. It's like a rat crawled up their butt and died. Like it's horrible. And
Oof.
so when you touch it and it's like it musts all over you, that stays for hours.
Yeah.
And I still make jokes. I'm like, I made a joke to Mercat because she's a reptile owner too. She knows the struggle of it. I said, I can still smell the musk from this snake. And it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I had caught this snake at like 5. I said, I can still smell the musk from the snake. 10 out of 10 would do again. Worth it. um, so yeah, but this snake, it was super cool, and I wanted to record it because it had a nub for a tail. Like it had lost its tail. It was so cool. Um, Kind of teaches us about the invasive species and the native species, and his catch line is yoink every time he yoinks a snake. Um, So I kind of take it after that, yoinking snakes like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I like to do. It's called herping, because herpetology is the study of reptiles.
Okay.
Um, so they call it herping, and you just go out and you look for reptiles, and that's like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I see
Besides,
that.
my other favorite thing to do is to go to the beach and get a bunch of sand and sift it for shark teeth. I've found like 5 of them
Nice.
fossilized. Yeah, that's another favorite thing.
All right. Well, there we go. We learned a lot about Chunk today,
AKA
aka
Shy,
Shy, but most importantly, Chunk, the star of the channel.
the star of the
The
channel.
star of the channel. We learned about Mango. I do
Hmm.
appreciate you coming. I really
Yeah,
do. Thank you so
yeah, I
much.
really enjoyed it.
This was very enlightening. I'd love to have you back, and
Oh yeah, that
hopefully,
would be
if
great.
I'm not the only one who has a million questions, because I do. 'Cause
Yeah,
like I
I'd love
said,
to
we
answer
we
all your
can we can
questions.
carry this on all day, because I'm sure the
Oh
folks
yeah,
watching
I'll,
would be wondering, because like I said, I never met anyone like you.
yeah, I'll probably hang out in the comments and answer people's questions if they have any.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because
Yeah,
I think they would greatly appreciate everything you have to offer, and your
yeah,
enthusiasm
yeah. Like I
is
said, I definitely love educating people. So I love that people are asking questions and not just assuming stuff. So questions are great.
right,
The
right.
curiosity is great.
Yeah, that's what I'd rather do, because, like I said, from the outside looking in, it's very, very easy to make assumptions or judgments, but
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
much more mature to just say, "Hey, I really don't know anything, so help me."
Right,
And
right.
I think you helped me out a lot. I mean, whether I like it or not, even if it's in the city or outside, people are reptile owners, and it's good to
Yeah,
know how to navigate that. You
definitely.
said a lot. I like what you said about. Let me look at my trusty notes here. Like, I didn't know that bearded dragons can respond to their name. I think that's really cool. I didn't know
Right, right.
that the husbandry plays a big part.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about their different degenerative diseases that affect the bearded dragons. That's very tragic. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And kind of like how it is, like, owning one and
yeah, definitely.
maintaining one. I think it's for people who are very detail oriented, which you told me you are. You like to
Yeah,
be in
definitely.
control, so I'm sure that plays a part as well. But that's also a good thing. I'd rather
Yeah,
I'd rather bring my reptile to someone like you
right,
than a vet who's like, I don't really care. I got nothing for you.
right.
So
And there's a lot of vets kind of just in it for the money.
I've experienced that.
Yeah,
They'll just
unfortunately.
diagnose something real quick just to get you out of the door and
Mm-hmm.
make a couple bucks off you. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But thank you for being here. I don't know if you got anything you want to plug, anything you want to let the people know. Is there any future
Oh,
projects, or you just be hanging around? What's your plans?
future projects. Me and Mercat are working on having different emojis for when I get monetized, and
Nice.
also different profile pictures for all the holidays.
Oh yeah, I think I saw one of them
Yeah.
already.
Yep. And yeah, me and Mercat are just we have future merch in the works right now. Um yeah.
The Chonk merch is on the way, folks.
Yeah, so
Uh,
just go check out Chonk's channel and see the star of the show that we're talking about.
yes, yes, please. That would be
Yeah,
great. Mercat, great designer, great artist. I think you guys would
she
love
definitely
whatever
is.
she comes up with, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be on vacation when you see this, so to enjoy it while I'm gone, guys.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but I appreciate you being here. Like I said, Shy, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
everyone.
Thank you. This was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.